Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I have with me here, this is the brand new Nikon Z6iii. This is not even available out in the shops yet, but I have it here with me courtesy of Nikon Singapore. I am their official Nikon creator. So before we begin, I'd just like to say that I'll try to keep my opinions honest, and I'm also a weddings and events photographer, so I'm very interested to see what this camera can do. If you like content like this and if you like to support the channel, please do remember to like and subscribe before we proceed, and then let's go and see what this camera can deliver for us.
While shooting this review, I come across some strangers who are willing to have their photos taken. Since I needed some human subjects, I'm happy to use them for sample images.
So the brand new thing in the Nikon Z6iii is the sensor itself. Nikon calls it a partial stack sensor, so it's something like what you have in the Z8 and the Z9, but not quite. It does have a faster readout speed.
The maximum shooting rate you get out of the new sensor is 20 frames per second RAW and 60 frames per second in JPEG.
And if you don't mind cropping into DX in crop mode, you can get up to 120 frames per second.
If we have used the Nikon Z8 or Z9 before, you'll find a very familiar camera sounds options in the camera menu.
So now I know a lot of people were hoping for more megapixels with the new Z6 series, but unfortunately this is not the case. It remains at 24 megapixel, which I think is enough for event photography, for wedding photography, for most intents and purposes for which you will use this camera. 24 megapixels is actually enough. Now, if you are doing landscape, you might be more interested in something with a higher megapixel count, but let's not forget that this camera is also capable of doing pixel shift photography. It gives you up to 96 megapixel images, provided there is nothing moving within the frame. Now, if you do want to check out more information about pixel shift photography, I do have another video, which I'll put the link down in the description below. It will explain all about it.
Similar to its predecessors, the Nikon Z6iii comes with a SD card slot and a CF Express Type B card slot. On the other end of the camera, you have your full-size HDMI, your 3.5mm headphone port, and a new line-in port for onboard audio monitoring, and you also get your USB-C port for power delivery. So here's something new that the camera does better than the Z8 and the Z9. The EVF is the brightest in the market right now and supports P3 color game mode, which should allow us to see more lifelike colors.
So depending on the kind of content that you are creating with the Nikon Z6iii, a screen that tilts forward this way might be a lot more useful than the screen that we used to have. So if you're a photographer like me, I'm kind of torn with which kind of screen I prefer, because when I'm shooting events and weddings, I'm used to having the screen tilt out this way so I can talk to my clients, I can talk to the couple who's getting married while shooting them at the same time and capture their expressions and faces, but I can't do that with a screen that tilts out this way. For YouTube purposes, I much rather have a screen that can turn forward.
Besides being fully articulating, the back LCD panel is 3.2 inches with 2.1 million dots. If you are interested in doing some astrophotography, you do have starlight view and warm display colors in the display menu.
So I managed to get some portraiture shots as well. I have the Nikon 135 planner on the Z6iii. You can't really tell from the camera right now, but it's actually getting pretty dark. We are 12 minutes away from sunset. So you can't tell from the camera, you can't tell from it here, but it's actually pretty dark. And from what I've seen of the low light autofocus performance, the camera found the person and latched onto her face very, very well. So I'm pretty impressed. I'm still eager to see how well the low light autofocus performs when it gets a lot darker than this, but from what I've seen so far, I think it's pretty good. So as far as battery goes, we are using the same ENELC batteries, which is excellent for somebody like me who has multiple cameras. So you can share batteries among all your cameras.
The Nikon Z6iii does come with pre-release capture, just like the newer Nikon mirrorless cameras. And just like the ZF, you can link your vibration reduction to your focus point for even better stabilization.
So it's getting pretty dark already, so we're going to head indoors and we're going to see how the Z6iii performs in darker lighting situations. So as you can see, the sun has set, so we went indoors. We're inside the Gardens by the Bay flower dome, and we're going to try to take some photos of some flowers. The Z6iii, let's see how that works out. Alright, so as you can see, it's pretty dark already inside here. I'm going to go around and look for some subjects. We're going to test out the low light autofocus, and we're going to see how this camera performs with high noise situations.
So here's another couple who's willing to get their photos taken. Now you can't really tell from the back of the screen, but it's actually extremely dark inside there. Look at my camera settings. If it looks that bright with the settings that I have over there, it's actually really dark in real life. Now I know this footage is a little shaky, so I'm trying to pose the couple and talk to them at the same time, but pay attention to the autofocus squares that's on the screen. You can see that the Nikon Z6iii does a pretty good job of finding the subject's eyes and staying on them, and even switching eyes, it works pretty well.
Right, so I didn't manage to capture the process, but I did manage to get a few volunteers to do some portraiture in near darkness. I think the photos came out well, despite being at a very, very high ISO.
As the day is ending, I took the chance to do some night photography, but stay tuned as I'm going to give some more thoughts about the camera and shoot some architecture the next day.
Hey everyone, it's a brand new morning here with the Nikon Z6iii. So another thing that I like to talk about with the camera is the body itself. So if you're shot with the Nikon Z5 or the Z6 or 7 series, you'll find that the body is very familiar. It looks almost identical. Button layouts wise, it's almost totally the same. You have your two function buttons right in front here, which you can use your fingers to click and press, and then the back looks very similar as well. There's a new button that looks like a light button over here right next to the small LCD screen. So this morning I was trying to fit on my Z7 II L plates onto the Z6iii, and it doesn't fit. So after fiddling around with it for a while, I realized that it doesn't fit because there's this little bulge here because of the screen that tilts out. So there's one thing to take note, is that your existing L plates are not going to work with the new Z6iii. Well, the good thing about that is that Nikon has worked with Small Rig to come up with accessories. So this is the Night Eagle for the Z6iii, very similar to the one that you have for the Z8. It comes with this very beautiful brown leather feeling to it. Very nice. It has the iconic Nikon red swish over here at the side here. It's extremely beautiful. I don't really use this because I don't really do that much video, but this feels really solid. You got lots of sockets for your accessories, and it feels really good, very well constructed. You have little panels right here that can tilt down, and this piece can be totally removed so that you have access to the panels on the side of the camera. Cold shoe mount over here at the side as well. Really love the golden accents you can see as well on this the Night Eagle cage. So while we are talking about ergonomics of the new camera, it feels really good, really light. I kind of do prefer having a L plate on because it gives a little bit more space for my little finger to rest on. I'm a huge fan of being able to shoot like this because I can see myself in the camera. I film alone a lot of time, so that's very useful. But there are a couple of things with this screen that I'm not a fan of. I do not like having to shoot like this. It's kind of weird. It's tilted out. You can of course put it at the back of the screen and shoot like this, but you can't really tilt the screen while it's stowed inside this way. So if you want to take it out and tilt it, it's going to be like this, and it's going to be at a kind of a weird angle. Ergonomically, it doesn't feel that comfortable as well. I still prefer what we have in the Z8 and the Z9 series. Of course, the Z8 and the Z9 series, you have your tilt-out screen that comes out this way. So I can still shoot like this. I can shoot like this with the screen coming out, and I can talk to my subjects on the camera. No problem at all. But it's a little bit more difficult with the screen on the Z6iii. And the other thing is, of course, shooting vertically with the Z8. It's so easy. Just flip out the screen like this. I can put the camera down at a low level and shoot. It feels so much more comfortable. Of course, I can do the same with the fully articulating screen on the Z6, but it just feels a little bit more flimsy. Like, it's coming out from the bottom here, and if I want to put my camera like straight at the bottom for those low level reflection shots, it's kind of awkward to find the right angle to do it. So at the end of the day, I understand that these cameras are for different purposes. Like I mentioned at first, I like the front-facing screen, but I think at the end of the day, I'm still going to prefer the screen that is on the Z8 and the Z9 bodies. Exactly who is this camera for? Now, I think that if you are a photographer and you have not experienced a mirrorless camera, this might be a good choice to start. It is not as expensive as the Z8 or the Z9, and it's a full-frame camera, of course. So if you're looking for something just a little bit above the Z50 or the ZFC, this might be a good choice for you. Personally, as a professional who uses these cameras for my events and commercial shoots and weddings, I am very confident in bringing this into the field with me. Like, this will deliver what I need it to do. It will bring results. If you are shooting with the Z5, Z6 or Z7, whether it's the Z6 II or 7 II, this is also a good reason to upgrade, because the autofocus is much better on this camera than it is on the previous cameras. So if you have any questions on the camera, remember you can leave a comment down below. Remember to leave the like on the video as well, and subscribe to the channel so I can produce more content like this. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. So of course there's going to be sample photos on my blog as well, so don't forget to check out my blog to see the photos.